Good afternoon, fellas. Naldo here. Happy game day. Happy Sunday. I believe the best commissioner is usually the one who you barely notice is there, really becoming involved unless there is a serious reason to. Too often, people get hung up with micromanaging every single thing that takes place in the league. However, in light of our recent league debates about trades and whether our league is truly abusing its vetoing power, I felt that as our league's commissioner, I had to speak up. Managers veto for many reasons. Because they think that a trade is lopsided, or because it's not a trade they would make, or because they feel it will make one of the teams involved become better than their own team. I believe that the primary reason for vetoing a trade is when there's clear evidence of collusion. As long as both owners are honestly trying to improve their teams, then trades should be allowed to go through. Too often managers get hung up on whether the trade is unfair or lopsided. In most leagues, there's no rule regarding stupidity. It is not our job to decide on how others should play the game. Let others play the game as they see fit. Fairness is in the eye of the beholder. What the various managers in this league feel about a player can vary greatly. It's not your job to decide what is fair. To continue with the issue of lopsided trades, often what many may appear as unbalanced does make sense when digging deeper and examining the trade. For example, when you take the case of manager trading a solid wide receiver for a tight end who doesn't put up nearly the same numbers on a weekly basis. Under a microscope, you'll probably find that the manager trading the solid wide receiver is loaded at that position and is leaving points on the bench every week when in fact that other player would start on most other teams in the league. So if it improves his team at the tight end position, then it makes sense, even if the tight end doesn't produce the same number of points on a weekly basis. And no doubt that the manager trading the tight end is getting an upgrade at receiver, so both teams are in fact benefiting from the transaction. As mentioned previously, there is no rule against stupidity. Although I believe that everyone in our league is experienced, as your league commissioner, I will now be discussing the trade with both parties involved as to the justification about the trade. Obviously, as a commissioner, if I'm involved in a trade, someone else in the league will need to rule on the trade and review it the same way as I'm reviewing it with justifications. And most likely those individuals who will be partaking in the decisions that involve the commissioner will probably be the division leaders. The last thing I want is a situation to arise that will tear this league apart. If a question arises as to why a particular trade should be allowed to go through, it can often be dealt with a simple and courteous asking of the manager involved to explain their motivations in making the trade. We don't see things through the same eyes, and usually they have a valid reason for the trade that many of us may not obviously see, and in fact may not even make sense. Normally, if two managers decide to trade and that it's fair, it should be good enough for the rest of the league if there's no evidence of collusion. In fact, it's still just a game. So let's keep having fun, and when it's no longer fun, we can decide to walk away. So to put it simply, a trade needs to only meet two criteria: that there's no collusion involved and that both teams are trying to improve their teams. So that's my message. As a commissioner, happy Sunday, good luck, enjoy the rest of the game. Peace.